Wes. Joe Rogan and I have had on and off communication since then. I can tell you for a fact that he is...
The funny thing is, Wes responds to this article. Hey, Fox News, your article on this attributes things to me that I did not say and also conflates statements to me that were actually said by my colleagues at Apologetics Canada.
Ruslan.
Joe Rogan is attending a church, and that has been a consistent thing. And they got Wesley Huff underneath. By the way, a very unflattering photo of Joe Rogan here.
Yeah, what's with the hard profile? That's a better shot of the back of his head than his face.
This is a terrible photo.
That's insane behavior.
Fox News. And this says, faith first. Joe Rogan is embracing the teachings of God in a major lifestyle change. After diving into Christianity and the Bible with Wes Huff on his show earlier this year, the podcast giant has made scripture part of his daily routine. And so then this says, in quotes, I can tell you for a fact that Rogan is attending a church, and that has been a consistent thing. Christian apologist Wesley Huff claimed. Podcast host Joe Rogan is apparently making a faith-driven change to his Sundays. He's going to church. According to Christian apologist Wes Huff, who appeared on Joe Rogan podcast in January, the world-famous podcast host has been attending church consistently since their on-air deep dive into Christianity and the Bible. Huff said, Joe Rogan and I have had on and off communication since then. I can tell you for a fact that he's attending church, and that has been a consistent thing. And so things are happening. The public speaker serves as the Central Canada Director for Apologetics Canada. Wes Huff is very encouraged. He's a very inquisitive individual. I think for the better that in that he is communicating with me and other people in life who are influences that can speak into. We had someone who reached out to us recently at Apologetics Canada. Was probably the last brick and mortar Christian bookstore that I've ever heard of.
Joe Rogan and I have had on and off communication since then. I can tell you for a fact that he is attending a church, and that that has been a consistent thing. And so he's a very inquisitive individual, and I think for the better in that he's communicating with me and other people in his life who are influences that can speak into, you know, these issues of reliability and trustworthiness and verisimilitude of something like the pages of scripture, and where he should and shouldn't be looking for the information in regards to that. So I am very encouraged by the communication that I have been able to have with him and others over these last few months in this kind of crazy season that I find myself in. But we're seeing what I don't think is an exaggeration to say somewhat of a resurgence in interest in these topics that we've been talking about, even the nitty gritty. We had someone who reached out to us recently at Apologetics Canada, who is probably the last bricks and mortar Christian bookstore that I've ever heard of. But they said, we have people walking through.
So this was on a podcast released recently. This everybody sent this to me. And so the funny thing is, Wes responds to this article. Hey, Fox News, your article on this attributes things to me that I did not say and also conflates statements to me that were actually said by my colleagues at Apologetics Canada. I'd encourage you to do a little bit better in your reporting with actually getting who said what is correct. So apparently there's been an update and a shift on this article.
Yeah.
Go back to the article and let's see if we can see it. The article was updated to show the comments that were made on the Know What You Believe with Michael Horton podcast. So basically what seems to be happening is that Wes said that Rogan is going to church, in that there was a little bit of sauce put on it by the media.
Yeah.
He's reading his Bible daily. He is like all these extra things that are not quite accurate, but are being ran in the media. Legacy media lies, who would have thought? So this is, I think, one of the kind of more problematic things, right? Joe Rogan is embracing the teachings of God in a major lifestyle shift after diving into Christianity and the Bible with Wes Huff. Early on the show earlier this year, the podcast giant has made scripture part of his daily routine.
Yeah.
Now, where did they get that quote from?
Yeah. I think they got it from the Fox News article that
daily routine?
Yeah.
They're acting like Joe Rogan got himself a daily devotional. He's reading.
He's made the Occupy Till I Come 6-day devotional part of his daily routine for the next 60 days. He's going through the entire narrative of Scripture. 25 days in the Old Testament, 35 days in the New Testament.
Right. Is there anything in that article about it? While you search that up. And in all seriousness, here's the issue we're running into. We joke about this within Christian circles. We call it like pastor math, right? With certain circles, pastors just like exaggerate. But like the OG pastor math is like mainstream media, right? There's nothing in here that would allude to Joe Rogan having a daily Bible study, right? There's nothing in here that would say that. Yet this is now being taken and ran as a news article.
Yeah, this is
right?
another person like repeating the same thing. It seems like that was like the headline that everyone started.
Really?
With this, the podcast giant has made scripture part of his daily routine. Is like the headline that kept
the
circulating.
daily routine is wild. The daily
Some
routine is
Christians
wild.
don't make reading scripture part of their daily routine.
Wes sharing that Joe Rogan has been going to church. There have been reports of this, but Joe Rogan hasn't spoken on it publicly yet. But he is someone that is trying to work these things out. We know that much. We've seen the evolution. We've covered it here on this channel. And it's been a beautiful thing to see him going very hostile towards God, more of like an agnostic atheist, to where he's at now. The rough part in all of this is that Wes saying something off the cuff an hour and a half into an interview of, hey, Joe Rogan's been going to church, and that becomes national news.
He forgets that. Do you think he might forget that he has like a million eyes on him now?
I think he forgets that because people sent that to me immediately after it dropped. And they were like, yo, did you hear? Rogan's going to church. And I was like, wait, who said this? And then I went and looked and I was like, oh, Wes said. So I hit Wes and how do I say this without saying it?
Word for word identical.
How do I say this without saying it? Joe Rogan is moving, seemingly moving towards Christianity. There's private stuff happening that isn't being talked about publicly.
Yeah.
And we should respect that that's not being talked about publicly just yet.
Come on.
And that's a good thing.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay. There we go.
Making this into bigger news
Yeah.
may not be good for the private thing that's happening.
Hello.
Making it national news and then adding sauce onto it.
It's so sad. Which is the only reason you're talking about it, because people sent it to you a week and a half ago.
I got this a week and a half ago.
And you're like, we're not going to talk about
We're
this.
not going to talk about it because this is not help. This is not helpful.
Yeah, and then Fox posts it.
And then
you're
Fox
like,
posts
okay.
it, puts sauce on it, exaggerates on it, a little pastor math on it.
And so now
there wasn't 100 people in the room. There were 300 people in the room.
Now we got to run coverage for for Wes Huff and Joe Rogan.
And so not helpful
Yeah.
to where Rogan is in his journey. Do you guys understand what I'm getting at? Is everybody tracking?
Fair.
Now, I can neither confirm nor deny any of this. But if you want to be like that Fox News article and get yourself a great daily devotional, the Bless God Occupied Till I Come Devo is on sale right now. Look at that. That was a seamless integration.
Come on, somebody.
35 days in the Old Testament, 25 days in the New Testament, taking you through an entire narrative of Scripture in 60 days with custom journal prompts on sale right now. The cheapest it's ever been. Okay. Yeah. For $22, you can get yourself the Devo, 60 days custom. There's even if I go back here, there's even a little prayer request section where you can jot down your prayers.
And there's a huge notes section in the back.
And there's a massive notes section. So after you finish it, I mean, you could even jump around, take this to church, take your notes on it. Done by our friend Josh Nadeau from Sword and Pencil. Zach is calling it the Tariff Special.
The Tariff Special, baby. When people are hiking their prices, we drop our prices so that y'all can get in a daily routine of reading the word.
And we got some oversized shirts. We got our $44 hoodie. We have the Priest Provider Protector trucker hat. We have a Bless God, Know God, Make Him Known hat. All this stuff is on sale. So get yourself something. Get your father something. Get your pastor something. Get your husband. Excuse me, ladies. Get your husband something. One of the biggest compliments you could give to your husband is by saying, or not even saying, just getting him a Priest Provider Protector t-shirt.
Come on, somebody.
You're the priest provider of our home. That is so encouraging. BlessGod.shop, scoop it up. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to comment below and subscribe and all that good stuff. And check out this other video that YouTube seems to be recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.